Welcome back. This is another episode of my backyard, and I've got several projects I need to work on around my property, but first thing I need to do, my compost I've been adding to is getting really full, so it's time to empty the old compost. It's been sitting for a little over a year. It was completely full with compost, and it's actually broken down quite a bit now. I think it's ready to go into the beds. I'm not quite ready to change the layout of my compost bins yet, so all I'm going to do right now is just empty this one so I can start throwing my food scraps and so forth into this bed and letting the other one rest and continue to break down. So let me just show you real quick what these compost beds look like, and then we'll go ahead and get started. These lids I made, oh gosh, it's been a while, maybe 8-10 years ago. Put little hinges on them so I can easily fold it open and close, get in and out of them. The wire grates you see on here, that is just from lathe, for lathing, or people that work with, like, what's it called? Stucco. On the side of the house. This is the lathing stuff they put on there to get texture. So when they're putting their skim coats on, it all sticks. And I will just try to clean some of those leaves off here. Right into the compost. Give me some browns in there. You need your browns and your greens. All these leaves will make really nice browns. My wife threw, well, this is just an artichoke seed. I don't generally put these in my compost, but occasionally they sneak in from other people. Can't grow avocados in North Carolina, so at least not outdoors. So that's why I don't like them germinating in here. I'll just pull them out when I get a chance. Looks like somebody threw a bunch of potatoes in here, and these potatoes love this compost. But this isn't my potato bed, so I'll just pick all of these, throw them over in the other compost, let them break down. It's a shame, really. Wish I had a place to replant these. They're growing so good, I could replant these and grow potatoes, but that's not what I'm trying to do, so. Alright. Got that cleaned out a little bit. Alright. So there we go. Get a little closer here, let you all see what I've done. This was food scraps like you've seen over there, and let me make sure you can see this. This is just good, rich, deliciously perfect compost, all natural, all organic, and you see how it packs? That's what you want compact, but then it just breaks apart real easy. That's perfect right there. Has a great odor to it. Oh, it's just wonderful. This is black gold right here, and I love it. And that is going in my center beds that I'm building in my garden. So let me move the camera. I'm gonna go ahead and start digging this stuff out, putting it in my wheelbarrow so I can take it over to my garden. Alright, let's go ahead and get started digging. things there like shells that are not coming down, that's okay. Continue to break out the gears. After the nutrients as well, that's really bottoming. The compost is going down. One thing I think about is not a decompost bed. I would definitely recommend all your plants out. A decompost will actually break down everything from soil sufficient to begin the seeds. They're in there. We need old rock plants or anything. They'll break them all down. So that's why I have to change. These are beds. Two beds. You see the idea. But this is the best crop soil in all of you. No, your soil seeds. They're in rich soil. Perfect growing conditions.
I built these beds, filled them with dirt. I could not put compost in here, and this dirt would be just fine for growing pretty much whatever I want to grow in here. It's a good pH balance, but compost is only going to help it that much more. So I'm just pulling back this top layer of mulch that I placed on the dirt in my beds, and compost down, and then I'll pull the mulch back on top of it. I've got about a 4-inch layer of mulch here roughly. Alright, so add some compost. I'm trying to put, 2 to 3 inches of compost down. Beautiful, thick, black, rich compost. There we go. They're beautiful. We will let that leach down into the soil for a couple weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. We'll see how the weather goes. And then we'll go ahead and plant our plants in there. Let's do another bed. Look, I got a worm right here, which I'm going to bury. Got another one right here. A couple worms in here. It's good, healthy soil. Always a good indicator. You got healthy soil when you have worms. Worms these. One shell at a time. Ah, it's too bad. Where is it coming from? Now it's lots of compost. Not sure what happened. Me too. Me too. Really, I'm not talking about that. Alright, half is dead. Another worm.
probably have 2 to 3 inches of compost down, and this bed and the one behind it or beside me here. And then I've got about 4 inches of mulch here. I think maybe three or 4 inches of mulch, which is good. Really going into the summer months, you only need about 2 inches of mulch. It's really just to help keep moisture in the ground and keep the ground from compacting and eroding. As the mulch breaks down, it also puts nutrients back into the soil. The fall, winter months, if you're going to be growing stuff in your garden, it's good to have up to about 6 inches of mulch because it has an added purpose of keeping your beds warm, keeping the roots warm on the plants so they grow a little bit better. So I just have like 4 inches of mulch here. Probably went a little heavy, but that's okay. When I get ready to plant, what I will do is clear out about a 6 or 8 inch area like this, get down to the soil, plant my plant. As it grows, gets up about 4 to 6 inches tall, I'll start moving mulch in a little bit around the base, a little bit more, until eventually the mulch is completely covered like this again, and the plant's able to grow up healthily. This will keep any seeds that might still be in my compost, it'll keep them from sprouting, and this will also keep any other weeds or anything from blowing in here from sprouting. If weeds do sprout in the mulch, which I've seen happen before, it's really easy to pick them because the roots can't get hold of anything. So it's really easy to pick them out. So weeding becomes a lot easier as well. So that's the purpose of the mulch. Let's go ahead and do the other 2 beds. All right, we're going to start on this side of the garden with the bed that's furthest back. As you can see, this is the bed that borders that little white picket fence I removed to get access to my food forest area. And I'll do this bed next to it here. Obviously I can't do this one yet because I haven't put dirt in it yet. So maybe I'll do that after I finish with the compost. So let's go ahead and pull that mulch back from that side over there. Beautiful quartz in here, but I'm not a quartz collector, and I don't want rocks in my garden. Little tiny pieces. Somehow it got in my compost. Maybe it got in the same way those potatoes did. Someone else put them in there. For that. That is not a rock or a piece of wood. That is half of a avocado seed. Could have left it in there. It's not going to hurt anything. Eventually it'll break down. But I don't want it in here, so not going to hurt to throw it out either. A couple quartz rocks. And that's it. Put that mulch back on. getting low on the compost. I don't know if I'll have enough to do this whole bed, but we'll put a little bit thinner, maybe an inch thick. Still give it some nutrients, extra little boost here, and see if we can spread it out, cover this whole bed too. So this soil, this is just soil I've been working with for a while. It compacts, it breaks apart, it smells great. I mean, this is just as rich a soil almost as that compost I put in there, because this has had compost put in it over the years and nutrients built up. I never till my garden, so I just use a natural back to Eden or lasagna garden style, where you just put stuff on top. Like next year, for example, before I add any more mulch, because this mulch will be broken down mostly, I'll actually add the compost right on top of the mulch and then mulch on top of that. And that way I'm just layering it year after year. Definitely going to have to make more mulch than I'm making right now, because I don't have enough to get to all my beds. I mean, it took me a little over a year to make that last batch, and I'm going to stretch it out to go into 4 of my beds. I got 5 in the middle, plus my outer beds, plus I want to add a whole nother section of beds. So definitely going to have to increase my mulch production, but I will do that in time. It will come with time. It's all a process. I think I can just get the wheelbarrow in here, dump the rest of that mulch out. Thin layer. Actually quite a bit more left than I thought there was. That's really good. So I was putting about 2 inches down in all of the other beds, more avocado seeds. And I've got about an inch to inch and a half in this bed, so it's just a little bit less. Another half an avocado seed, another half avocado seed. Yeah, so it's pretty close to the same. Again, soil's really rich even without the compost. It's just keeping those nutrients up. We want the healthiest plants possible. So we gotta constantly be feeding. There's a little more dirt down there. All right, put the mulch back. All right, let's just clean it up, smooth it out, make it all look good, dress it, and then we're done. This was part of my honey-do list. My wife wanted me to take care of the compost this weekend because we're running out of room to dump in. And so I was wanting to do this anyway. The timing was actually perfect because I will be planting in these beds in just a couple weeks. So there we go. All done. I decided to go ahead and fill this bed up. It's probably going to take 6 or 7 loads. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep refilling the wheelbarrow, dump it on this side, try to drag it back through here. This is the last load of dirt. As you can see, it's not quite a full load. Just kind of top it off here. So it's like 6 3/4 wheelbarrows of dirt. But I did put a lot of scrap wood in the bottom of this bed, so that helped fill it up a little bit too. That wood will rot down and eventually help feed nutrients back into the soil as well. So that's it. 5th bed is full of dirt. Fantastic. What wonderful dirt this is. Beautiful, rich soil. I do have a couple pieces of tape like this in here. My old garden, I put down cardboard first, and I didn't bother taking the time to remove all of the tape off of the boxes. So when we dug up the dirt from the old garden, we had all this tape pieces in it. And we got most of it out, but there's still a few. Pine cone. Still a few pieces. But overall, it's pretty good. This is a clay clot, but I'm going to break it up, allow some of it to go back in here because there's still good nutrients in clay even. It helps with soil retention. I just don't want big old clots in here. We'll just mix that in. Beautiful. Alright. All I gotta do is put a little mulch on top, and this bed is ready for planting. I don't need as much mulch as I thought I did. Looks like one wheelbarrow full might be enough. This mulch looks a little different than the mulch I was messing with in the other beds. It's because this is newer. The other mulch I chipped about a year ago, and it had already started browning and breaking down. This is new mulch I got dumped here by the people who took down my trees. They didn't mulch any of my trees. This is just mulch they cut down from somewhere else. Most of what makes up the mulch in the other beds is pine. Most of what makes up the mulch in this bed is oak. So that's part of the difference. Also, they probably used a better chipper than what I used, which means it got a finer, smaller chip, whereas the stuff in the other beds leaves a lot more sticks and things like that in there. But it all does the same thing. It breaks down. It puts nutrients in the soil. It keeps water retention in the soil, helps protect the plants, keeps heat in the soil in the cooler months, keeps the soil cooler in the warmer months. And there we go. Alright, my battery's dying, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up with a few closing words. I thought I'd give you a tour of how my veggies are doing while I'm wrapping this up. This is my kale. Hasn't really changed much, but some of the peas and other things have. You'll see. So that's it for this video. I'm adding compost to my beds. Finished filling the last bed, and now I can work on removing stumps over my food forest and get ready to plant my garden bed out in a few weeks here. That container you see right there, I'm going to thin all of this out right here, and I'm going to save everything I thin out, eat them as microgreens. So I have a little Tupperware to put them in. Beets are coming up real nice here. You can see how nicely they're coming up just all through here. Fantastic. I've cleaned a lot of this up over here already. I removed a stump out in that area right there. Two more that were right beside that large pine stump. One that was right about where the end of that log is. Another one just a little bit over here. And a few little ones scattered around too. So quite a few stumps I've pulled out of here. I think I'm going to leave those two for now. Let this log be kind of a barrier for the garden. This is where my corn will go. All the way up to where that closest hickory stump is right there. And then from the hickory stump back to about where the corner of that house is, all those stumps in there will have to get removed because that'll be my sweet potato patch. And yes, I will try to remove that ginormous pine stump as well. Probably what I'll end up having to do with that one is dig around it as deep as I can go, cut the main roots, use my chainsaw to cut it down below grade, maybe get a stump grinder in there, grind it down a little more, and then just bury it. As long as I can get it about 8 inches below grade, that should be fine. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. I'll give you one last view of my garden. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and like button and ring the little bell so you can get notified of new videos when I post them. Till the next video, I'll see you then.